Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to the Lords of Middle-earth tournament. Game number 3 between myself and Ari for the semifinals. So, if you've been watching my stuff for a while, you know I've made it to the semi. This is my 4th semifinals I've been in. I have yet to win an actual match as a semifinal. So, Game 3 is very exciting for me, personally, anyway. Okay, so we did bidding. We bid tokens for this one. And so I offered 1, then he jumped me to 6. Tokens. Yeah, well, that escalated quickly. My brain threw out the Anchorman meme there. So I thought about it for a while, then offered him 7. He took 7. So here we are with, me as Shadow against Free Peoples with 7 tokens here. No one out, he says. So changing it up from before, which is reasonable. I think I've said this before, but I think the 2 best starts are either Gimli out or no one out. Boromir out is also a decent start, I think. Okay, so anyway, Fellowship Bouquet, 1 eye in, 2 more rolled, and a perfectly reasonable roll for him. So he draws a strategy card. Let's see, he's got Thranduil, Rangers, 3 rings for the Elven Kings. Good cards, good cards. So I've got only 1 attack. If I had 3 attacks here, I think the right call would be mustering Sauron to war and just besieging Woodland Realm right away. Because since there's no Gimli, the dew line is a little bit weaker, right? Like, it's a little more appetizing. I think I'm also realizing that he specifically probably didn't separate any companions because he had so many tokens that he's hoping to use the tokens to defend instead, and thereby he can deny me a token by not separating a companion and have a healthier fellowship for just sprinting faster. So I think that's a pretty smart choice. Okay, so I muster Isengard to war. He musters the elves down. I draw a strategy card. He musters the elves down again. I get the Balrog here, which I'm not sure if that's a great choice or not, but it's a weird pinch when the tempo's off and the Free Peoples are going last, because I can't get Saruman right now, because then what if he moves and kills Gandalf and then gets Gandalf the White turn 1? That would just be preposterously bad. So it does get the elves to war for him for free without him having to use a token, but he has an insane amount of tokens for mustering anyway, so I guess I'm not really benefiting him that much. Okay, so Fellowship moves, and they are hit, and it's a 1. So good call me not getting Saruman. He takes it as corruption, which I think makes a lot of sense. And I get Saruman, and he musters in Lorien. I was a little surprised he didn't move again, but then again, like 3 at 5, like you probably would get hit, and like it's, you know, slightly over 50% that he'd get revealed now since 1 non-revealing tile is out. So that's definitely, and also, like, what if you just don't roll any musters next turn, right? So you'd feel bad not having gotten any elves on the board. Okay, so he gets Aemir and Challenge. I get New Powers Rising and Shelob. 1 eye in, 2 more rolled. Again, 2 movement. Only 1 muster. So I'm pretty happy to see that only 1 muster. So getting the elves to war means he can only get 1 elf in Woodland Realm is my plan right now. So I have Pits of Mordor here. I'm excited to get Mordor to war, play Pits of Mordor with the Palantir, go besiege Woodland Realm since he can only muster once in there. Little do I know he has Thranduil. Yeah, and then probably with one of these musters, get the Witch King if he gets revealed, or maybe get Gothmog, or maybe just attack again, I don't know. Okay, so he draws another strategy card. I get Sauron to war, he passes, I play Pits of Mordor. Fellowship moves, they're safe this time. I move armies. He uses a token to muster the North closer to war. Yep, that's a reasonable choice. I think that's probably what I would do too here. All right, I forgot to spell this out. So what we're doing, these 3 little boxes here, these are Dwarven rings that you can add. So we're pretending that these are muster tokens, because you can't just produce more of the tokens. And that the Free People settlement markers here are the draw card tokens. So he already used 1 muster. Oh no, he hasn't used any muster tokens yet. Yeah, he's still got all 7 there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the North moves down a step. I continue moving towards the dew line. He musters in Woodland Realm. I besiege Woodland Realm. He plays Thranduil's archers. I'm not sure what I do here. Right, I just keep moving armies. And the Fellowship moves again, and they're hit, and it's a 2 reveal. So this time he loses Gandalf. He doesn't go to Moria this time. Good choice. Yeah, this time it's a lot more straightforward, because last time he had Gandalf and Smeagol, so it made more sense. But this time, like, that's a decent tile to lose Gandalf to, and yeah, so now you have Strider's guide ability for hiding next turn, and you dodge the Balrog this way. It is a bummer for him that he doesn't get a keep or die this turn, and he has to go the slow way, but hey, that's the game. The game's just mean to you. Okay, so 1 eye in, 2 more rolled, and 0 movement for him. So that's a bit of a bummer turn for both of us because, you know, with the Fellowship revealed, I would have really liked to get the Chief in play for cycling character cards and for having the extra die. And I'd also like to get Gothmog, but I got 0 musters. And also my 3 eyes are kind of a waste since he has no movement, but I think this is still probably better for me because I at least still have some army moving to do here, so I'm still making progress towards my win condition. He would need to use a ring to move once against 3 eyes, so that doesn't feel amazing anyway. So I play New Powers Rising. It feels good to get that one out just in case Wind from the West shows up to take it away. He doesn't have Wind from the West. I also wouldn't want to lose Corsairs to that, I guess, so I guess I'm not that scared of losing New Powers Rising specifically. Okay, then I play... Oh, yeah, I decided to change it up. Since there's no Gandalf the White coming this turn, I decided to just go after Helm's Deep for whatever reason. I guess the Dew line doesn't feel like it's about to get that much tougher, right? Because the North and the Dwarves aren't activated. So, like obviously Dane or Brand could show up. But, you know, since I have, you know, these attacks... and Helm's Deep is definitely not prepared yet. I kind of want to just go for it, since I got New Powers Rising. So we attack Fort's Visa, no card. He scouts his away to Helm's Deep, and he plays Éomer. So yeah, those were 2 fantastic cards to take Helm's Deep from 1 regular to a decent army. So I'm officially not really planning on going after Rohan anymore. Like, I could go after Helm's Deep, but it's not a free stronghold anymore, really. It's a pretty normal stronghold now. So instead of going after a normal stronghold and leaving Saruman vulnerable, I'd rather just move other armies and leave that army there so that if he does get Gandalf the White, I could just move that army back again to defend Saruman. Okay, so I move armies along towards the north. He gets Galadriel. I continue moving. He musters Rohan down a step. I continue moving, and he plays Rangers of the North against Woodland Realm. Gets 2 hits. That's pretty good. And puts more guys down to Dale. That's yeah, very strong card for sure. I got Cruel Weather, which is nice. That feels so good. And he gets Dead Men and Riders of Theoden. Both pretty strong cards too. Lots of good Rohan cards. Oh, that was all 3 of them already. Wow. Yeah. That's because, yeah, he played Éomer and Red Arrow last turn, and now he's got Riders of Theoden. So that's all 3 of the Rohan mustering cards. Okay, so I say 0 eyes this time, and I mean it. I roll 0 eyes. And he rolls 2 movement, so that's pretty average. So I'm okay with that. Like, I don't know. Like, statistically speaking, there was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dice that could have rolled an eye, counting Galadriel's die. So that was, like, 10 dice to roll a 6. So, like, 1 should have been there, but, oh well. At the same time, though, I'm pretty at peace with this because, like, 4 musters, I can use all of them very well. Like, I can get the Chief, get the Southwoods and Easterlings to war, and get Gothmog, so all 4 of those are value. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks to go with it after that. So I'm still pretty okay with this turn. So yeah, Southwoods and Easterlings to war. Fellowship moves again. Out comes the Chief. Out comes Gothmog. I move armies along. So, yeah, it's a little bit tricky what you do with Woodland Realm and Erebor here. Woodland Realm is definitely not getting stronger. And, like, Thranduil has already come. So I'd rather go get Erebor first. But at the same time, you also want to leave strong enough of an army on Woodland Realm so that they can't sortie and then muster even more, right? So what I do is I move the armies like that. And then he musters the dwarves, and then I send the rest of the army along like that. So I'm leaving 6 regulars behind to keep Woodland Realm besieged, and the rest of the army, like with the Nazgul now, is going to go and try to get Erebor. Since he doesn't have hybrid die and he can't walk that regular in, you know, that helps. So he picks up Tom Bombadil, I besiege Erebor. He uses a ring to move the Fellowship again. I attack Iron Hills, just so he can't muster out of there at the start of next turn. I get my 1 hit. He doesn't get a hit back. That's nice for me. And he gets Rohan the rest of the way to war. Okay, so... right, so he gets Imrahil and Althalas, both good cards. That's a tough choice. What do you check here? I think I'd probably check Deadman and We Prove the Swifter. Just in terms of, like, usefulness on the front. Like, those are great if you're going to separate Strider, but if you're not, and you're just going to run, which is what I would do here anyway, that's by default, then the rest of them are better for defending, slash healing your Fellowship anyway. What am I throwing out here? Oh yeah, this is a tough choice too. All 8 of these were good. I seriously considered chucking both the red tiles, and just committing to military hardcore. But at the same time, the last game where I hit 3 red tiles on the mortar track was still fresh in my mind, so keeping that hope out there was still very much a thing. So it's between the red tiles, a sealed door candles, and King is Revealed. These 3 are just too strong. So I'm curious to see. I think I chuck candles and King is Revealed here. Yeah, there goes candles and King is Revealed. Yeah. Okay, 1 eye in, decent roll, an eye from Galadriel, and a few movements. So he has a Will of the West, so he gets Gandalf, of course, before I can play Day Without Dawn. So naturally, I go ahead and I'm not that excited to pounce on Helm's Deep anymore for sure. So I just bring that army back to protect Saruman. Turns out he didn't have any ant cards, but I mean, yeah, who knows. And I get that army in Moria, so that army like could advance against Lorien, or it could pivot over to Rivendell. It's pretty ready to go for either one. So Fellowship moves, and they're safe. I play one of the red tiles and cycle into another card. He moves again, and is safe again, so I'm a little bit bummed about that. So I play Worn of Sorrow and Toil. And then I play Corsairs, besieging Dol Amroth. Right, okay, and so the other cool thing about this is that I can get the mouth early, right? So now I'm attacking Dale just to get the north to war. So I roll 2 6s, so that's nice, and he rolls no hits back, so that's definitely good news for me. I put 3 orcs there simply because I'm planning on bringing the southern and easterling reinforcement anyway, and I'd rather leave enough of a force here that this army can't threaten a retake, because if it was just 1 regular, like especially maybe with a sudden strike, he could pull that off. And also if he does muster and Carrick and come over here, it's not that easy for him to take back. 4 regulars even. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so I move Nazgul leadership around to Dol Amroth because I'd rather finish it off before Imrahil or Círdan's ships show up. I'm a little surprised he didn't play Imrahil here. Maybe that just felt like a waste to him. I don't know. Or he has some other specific plan for the hybrid die. Okay, so I attack Dol Amroth. And he plays Imrahil as a combat card here against Fear of Their Masters. So I get 4 hits, so there you go. Minus the shield wall, that's still 3 hits. He does roll 5 hits back, though, because the Fear of the Masters makes each 6 count for 2 hits back. So that definitely hurt them for sure. Yep. But obviously I'm happy to get Dol Amroth, though. Okay, so then I get the mouth on turn 5. That feels amazing. Yeah, so he confirms you can use the muster token for tempo. Specifically, it's a weird wording. You are not allowed to just discard it, but you are allowed to use it to no effect. So technically right now he's using it to muster a nation down, and the nation is already at war. Okay, so I decide, you know, it's just looking a little bit like you know, obviously he gets to go last. So if I didn't muster and protect these strongholds, he could walk and then take Umbar and Dol Guldur next turn, and then I have to retake one of those, and that's just a waste of time on my part. Like, this army would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 4 attacks out of my way, and it's further away from any stronghold. So, yeah, just much more prudent to just put a regular in both of them. So out comes Elrond. See, I got Hill Trolls and the Lidless Eye. He gets Wind from the West and Grimbeorn. He checks Grimbeorn. Yeah, that's reasonable. He doesn't really have a use for scouts right now. Okay, so 1 eye in, 1 more rolled, 2 movement, and a couple else. Oh, let's see. He's at 5 movement right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, if he uses Elrond's ring, that would for sure make it more likely that he gets to Mordor this turn. Okay, so he is hit, and it's a reveal. So good job, Chief. I remember that was actually that's a bad news for me. because I have Cruel Weather, and I really want to play that this turn to try to, you know, increase the odds of him not getting there. So actually, if he gets revealed and, you know, hides Everstep with Strider, that protects him from Cruel Weather. So he said, I guess he was thinking about using Galadriel's Ring. I think it's probably the right choice to not. So anyway, there he's revealed, and he's correctly using Elrond's Ring to pull that back. So I play a Sealer's Bane here, specifically because if I hit Smeagol here, then Smeagol's in the way, and he can't use Strider's ability to hide the Fellowship. That is literally the only thing I'm hoping for here. I pull a 3, which is the next best thing, because obviously that hurts. And then he goes ahead and plays 3 rings for the Elven Kings. It gets 2 hits. So not quite as good as the 3 hits that I rolled in the last game, but he still got all of the rings. So maybe instead of playing a Isildur, I should have used a ring first. But at the same time, he would have still got both of them back, so he would have still got to use Elrond's ability again here. But then, of course, I would have gotten use out of one of the rings. But I wanted to hurry with that because I wanted to get Smeagol to delay him. So it's a tough choice. It's definitely well played on his part. Okay, so now the other rough part about that is, since I don't have a ring anymore, I can't move my Nazgul around. So like the Chief and these guys, they're stuck in Dol Amroth. I no longer have the ability to move them unless I draw a character card like Ringwraiths or Abroad. So instead I'm looking at what else there is to do. With the 2 Palantirs, I'm hoping to play Cruel Weather and Shelob before they get in, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks since I've got them out here. So I figure I might as well go Besiege Rivendell. Because he's low on elves. Yeah, there's only 1 elf in Elite left. And I can also bring this reinforcements up to Erebor. Yeah. So yeah, he confirms that correctly. He can use Elrond here. Yeah, so he musters an Elite in Rivendell. I besiege Rivendell. He uses a token to draw a card. Instead of using it for an attack, I decided to switch the captain here just so I can attack Pelargir, which, you know, it's nice to get it so that it's a point on the board. And I make him come to me instead of him getting to bulk it up with a defensive army that I have to fight first. But also I get to cycle Lidless Eye for maybe another good stalling character card. Okay, so he plays Athelas and gets only 1 healing, so that is bad luck. That's bad luck for sure. So now I attack Pelargir, and I'm cycling Lidless Eye. I get not a hit, and he also gets not a hit, so I press. He retreats to Osgiliath. That's pretty straightforward. I draw into Durin's Bane, which is a little bit useless at this point, because I'm probably not going after Lorien. I play Shelob. He moves. And he's safe. Oh, right, and he uses Elrond's Ring again. That's right. He got to use Elrond's Ring twice here. So he has his 1 movement, but in case I had Cruel Weather, he had to use it again. So that was a good read on his part that I had Cruel Weather here. So now he has to move twice, but if he gets revealed on the next step, then obviously he doesn't make it. So wouldn't you know it, he moves, he gets hit, and it's a reveal. So that's such bad luck. That it's also not one of the eyes, because with one of the eyes, he could have used Galadriel's Ring to block it, right? But nope, it's one of these revealing ones. So that's huge. That buys me a whole turn. Just fun fact, it's not possible to use Elrond 3 times in 1 turn. Yeah, I've never seen Elrond's Ring used twice in a row like that. And the bad luck to still not make it to Mordor, like with Cruel Weather and the reveal like that. That's some very bad luck indeed. Okay, so we're on to the next turn. I get Devilry and a red tile. He gets Ents and King Brand. He chucks Ents. I think that makes sense. 1 eye in, 1 more rolled. He gets enough movement anyway. He makes the good choice of moving right away so that Day Without Dawn doesn't get played to take them both away. And he's safe. Okay, I move troops along. He musters in Minas Tirith. I keep moving troops along. I move my leadership around. And now I'm attacking Erebor. So, feels good getting the Black Captain up there. So, let's take stock here. I'm at 4 points. So I need 6 more, and I have 3 strongholds besieged. So the plan is to consolidate this army here into Pelargir, so as to keep it from the Gondor guys of Minas Tirith, and then to crack Erebor, come over, take Woodland Realm, and for this army to take Rivendell. So if I win these 3 sieges and hold on to Pelargir, then I can win the game. So that's like, it might work, it might not. It really comes down to the combat dice here, and cards, obviously. So we're attacking Erebor. Desperate Battle against Shield Wall. So I get just 2 hits, so that feels very bad because I, like, just 1 hit. So I choose to press. I'm drawing Day Without Dawn. It's a nice card. We got 2 hits. He gets 2 hits back. I press and no card again. Daylight, and I just roll 2 6s against a Daylight. That's such trash, man. Yeah. As the Free People's player, when that happens to me as the Free People's player, I just lose it. That's so frustrating. So yeah, that's the end of Erebor. He draws a strategy card. I play Hill Trolls to reinforce Rivendell. He keeps mustering in Minas Tirith. I move my leadership over. He uses Gandalf's ring. That's right. He uses Gandalf's ring to separate Strider, which I think is a reasonable choice because the Fellowship is in fantastic health. Right? Like, they're at 4 corruption, but they still had all of the original companions minus Gandalf. So I think you can afford to lose some health, but the downside is, you know, Strider's hiding ability is pretty epic. I guess he does also have Dead Men, so that increases the value there. Unfortunately for him, very unfortunate for him, I literally just picked up Day Without Dawn. So that's some really bad luck. Like, I just cycled into that on the Siege in Erebor. That's pretty lucky. So, okay, he moves troops around. Right, moves towards Dol Guldur and towards Helm's Deep. That makes sense. And then I use a ring. Since I have 2 rings anyway, like, I attack Rivendell. So, cycling a strategy card, Devilry against Confusion. I get 1 hit, just the 1 hit. He gets 2 hits back. I don't bother pressing, just because I don't really have any good cards to cycle right now anyway, and I didn't know what I was going to draw into. So. Okay, fighting Uruk-hai, great. That is fantastic for pressing the siege here at Rivendell. Okay, and off we are into the next turn. So he's into Mordor now. 1 eye in, 2 more rolls. 3 movement is nice. He knows I can't play a Day Without Dawn. So the question you always got to ask is, can the Shadow player win this turn? The answer is possibly. So I certainly have a shot at defending Pelargir and taking out both these strongholds. And I have enough dice that it's possible, but you could gamble that I just can't pull it off. Like, if the attacking dice just fail and I have to waste too many dice, then maybe I can't do it. Yeah, but he could pass because Day Without Dawn already came, so he doesn't have to be scared about it. But I have Fighting Uruk-hai, so that helps a lot for accelerating the siege at Rivendell. So I cycle a Swarm of Bats there. I get 3 hits, so that's nice. He gets 2 hits back. Okay, yeah, there we go. On to the next one. No card, no card. 1 hit, 1 hit. No card, no card. 2 hits, 0 hits. So yeah, that, you know, is about expected, like my army's weakened, but yeah, we got him. Okay, so now I just need to get Woodland Realm and hold on to Pelargir. I move my leadership over. He musters in Minas Tirith. Yeah, puts a leadership in Minas Tirith and a regular in Losarnoch. That regular is pretty crucial because if you want to empty Minas Tirith, there is the possibility that the Shadow Army just goes to Losarnoch and then threatens taking Minas Tirith. Like, congratulations, you got Pelargir. I got a stronghold in return. So it's good to try to make that more difficult for the Shadow player anyway. Okay, so here I come moving out. I guess the plan is to threaten... The main point of this army moving here was that I wanted to threaten retaking Edoras. So that if he does, because this army it very well might win that fight for Pelargir, so that if he wins that fight, maybe I can win this fight for Edoras and keep up 10 points this way. So he musters in Helm's Deep and in Edoras. I attack... Alright, I bring reinforcements to Pelargir and to Woodland Realm, and then he plays We Prove the Swifter to put Gandalf into Woodland Realm, which I think is a very, good choice. Because without that, there is a chance that I could crack it in 1 die. Like if I had Grond. Anyway, he doesn't know that I don't have Grond. But if I did, I might have been able to take it in 1 die, and then I'd have 2 dice left to get Edoras. So even if you re-liberate Pelargir, then I still win. Yeah. So I think about going after Woodland Realm, but I decide my cards are just not strong enough, so I decide that I'm more likely to win at Helm's Deep instead. So I besiege Helm's Deep. He thinks about it for a bit and decides to draw a card first. That's reasonable. I move leadership back to Helm's Deep, so I'm pretty much forcing him to spend these 2 dice to attack me in Pelargir and fight me here. Or I'll just win by taking Helm's Deep. And if he spends both these dice, then that's a win for me because like I've made progress towards my 10 points, and the Fellowship will have not made any progress this turn. In fact, they'll eat 1 corruption for having not moved at all this turn. So, so he thinks about it again and decides to instead move Strider to East Demnet, which tells me that like he, for sure has Dead Men of Dunharrow, and yeah, he does, because there's no way you'd invest that resource in there unless you actually had that card. And that card is a guaranteed, yes, you get to take back Pelargir. So that is like, shoot, I guess I can't win this turn anymore. So I decided to go ahead with attacking Helm's Deep this turn anyway, because then it forces him to spend that die playing Dead Men now and not moving the Fellowship at all. So that's at least progress for me that way. Assuming I take Helm's Deep anyway. Of course, I might not. So I play Foul Stench against Valor. So I get 3 hits, which is pretty good. And he gets 4 hits back with his Valor, so that is also pretty good. So I guess I press. And I play an Onslaught here to try to finish it off. He plays Daylight. I get 0 hits. That's what's supposed to happen with Daylight. You're supposed to get 0 hits, not 2, Bob. And he gets 2 hits back. So I lose an Elite, and I consider here, I could take 4 hits with the Onslaught here to try to force Dead Men out of his hand. But asking for 3 hits on 4 dice with an Onslaught is a little bit unlikely. And if I, whiff and only get like 2 or 1 hit, then he could sortie and kill the Witch King. So I decide to not use it at all and just, hope that I can finish the job next turn and that he can't dunk next turn. So he moves the Fellowship here and hits a 2. That's fine. So he takes a Companion, which I guess you kind of have to. Like you could just eat it as corruption, and Worn with Sorrow and Toil, wouldn't you know it, it takes away Dead Men of Dunharrow. So that feels so bad. Like you spent that resource, you spent that die putting Strider into Minas Tirith and then into East Demnet, and he can't even do the Dead Men thing anymore. Like that's just such a brutal 1 in 4 there. Yeah, feels bad. Feels bad for sure. Okay, so he gets Mithril Coat and Celeborn, good cards. I get Black Captain Commands and Shadow Lengthens, also both great cards. And away we go to the next turn. So 1 eye in, 2 more rolled. So bummer that I get all those musters anyway. That does not exactly help. It's not terrible, but it's okay anyway. So he moves right away. I think that makes sense, and hits an eye. So that's 3R. So he loses Gimli and takes 1 corruption and reveals. It makes sense. Worn with Sorrow and Toil strikes again. So when he moving again there kind of told it hinted to me that maybe he already lost Dead Men, because moving again there and risking losing it again would feel strange when you could just play it right away instead. Or maybe he was bluffing. I was definitely not sure at that point anyway. So I muster in Orthanc to bring in reinforcements for the siege at Helm's Deep. He musters in Minas Tirith and Edoras. I muster more in Orthanc. So now I'm out of musters that are for sure a muster, because I could use one of these with the mouth, and I could use the ring on the other one. So both of these could be attacks now. So at first, my plan was to move the regular from North Dunland to South Downs, and move something else, and then play Shadow Lengthens to bring this army to South Downs and this army to Helm's Deep. But what I realized is I actually don't need to do that, because my other movement isn't very important here. I might as well actually just walk, because it's 2 dice to accomplish the same thing either way. Like, yes, this army is 1 regular weaker, but the Shire isn't strong enough to repel this anyway. And also, if I went with that, leaving this army here and banking on Shadow's Gather, that would give him the opportunity to put a unit in the way and thereby thwart my plan and set me 1 die behind. So instead, I just walk my 2 regulars, my 2 elites over. He comes out to fight me for Pelargir, so I definitely considered attacking Lasarnik here. Because then, if I win my siege at Helm's Deep, he has to use a ring to move back into Helm's Deep or muster to defend it, and he has to use this character die to attack Pelargir. But then again, that still means that I don't win this turn, actually, and we'd go to another turn, So, like, yes, he'd be spending his last ring and a movement to do that, but he still moved a time this turn, so if he just, you know, rolls 5 movement next turn, he might still be able to pull it off. So it's definitely better to try to win this turn if you can. And I think I can. So I decide to let him come and fight me at Polar Gear if he wants to. Instead, with my 3 dice, I will try to take Helm's Deep and then move this army to West Emnet, and that army to Buckland with the same die preferably, and then be able to threaten Shire or Edoras to reclaim my 10th point if he does beat me in Polar Gear. So here I come with Grond against Helm's Deep. It's lucky to pick up Grond here for sure. So I play Foul Stench as my opening card because that's literally my only playable combat card here. So I get 1 hit, he gets 1 hit back. That's pretty normal. So on to next roll. I pick up Devilry of Orthanc though. That is also a lucky draw. That helps. Against Daylight though. So I get 2 hits though. So, geez, Bob. You lucky piece of garbage. And he gets only 1 hit back. So that's very good news for me, for sure. And I'm officially up to 10 points. And he confirms that I have not used a ring yet this turn. So he attacks Polar Gear, no card. I get to use Mumakil as the combat card here. That's another reward for not using Shadow Lengthens as an event. So he gets 0 hits. I get 3 plus the 1 from the Mumakil. So that is a very optimistic start for sure. Mumakil is very strong as a defensive card when you're defending in a city like this too, because for that round they're so much less likely to get hits on you that it makes it very likely that you get to trigger that extra hit. Doesn't get to happen very often, but it feels good when it does. So he presses, he gets 3 hits. I also get 3 hits. That's, you know, nice for me. Presses, 2 hits for him, 3 hits for me, 4 hits for me actually. Shoot, yeah, just the luck for field battles was all my way this series. So he presses, 2 hits for me, 4 hits for him. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of it. There's mathematically, well, actually no, I guess he could play for, you know, I move like this, and then hope that the Shire defends or Edoras defends, and he could use a ring for Lasarnik to attack Polar Gear and hope to retake it. So that's he could play that out, but it just says GG well played because that's 0.00001% of that working. Yeah, so now he confesses that that poor soul, that Worn with Sorrow and Toil took away Dead Men on the 1 and 4 there, which is just brutal. Like that really would have changed the dynamic of this turn for sure if he'd been able to play Dead Men here. Also the reveal, yeah, the reveal was super lucky for sure. Like I think I played it well, but yeah, luck was definitely on my side here. Yes, then we're talking about tokens a little bit. Yeah, the tokens definitely made it scary. Like I did have to watch out for Free People's military wins. It doesn't make going for a Free People's military win a viable strategy to me. Like I still don't really think you can set out with it as your main plan if the Shadow player defends adequately. But it certainly makes sneak attacks more doable. So you definitely have to be more on guard against them anyway. Especially tokens plus Elrond's ring ability can be a very sneaky combo indeed. Yeah, so that's the end of Game 3. I'm very happy to finally make it to the finals. So yeah, first or second will be great against either Nicholas or Saved by Him in the finals. Let's take a look at statistics here. +4 on 6s, yeah, felt like that. +6 on hits for him. Didn't feel quite like +6, I would have guessed like +2. Little muster heavy, yeah, overall -4 on attacks. It didn't quite feel like that. It felt pretty good. I guess I had some extra attacks from the Balrog and from Gothmog, so yeah, I guess that balances that out. -2 overall in movement for him. Yeah, it felt more or less like that. So yeah, that's the game. I think pretty well played. There's probably a couple things we both could have done better, but yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.